Well, we're glad to have you here. You have been with this organization off and on for how many years now?
Oh, I'm just going on my first year, actually.
First year.
Got one winter under my belt.
One winter. Well, that in my mind, one winter on top of the summit counts for a lot, because describe the experience. I mean, did you know what you were getting into when you headed up?
No, not really. I've done a lot of hiking in the region. Certainly have hiked Mount Washington before, but you know, been around, worked for the AMC, I've been up on Mount Washington, but being up there for a winter and just being out there in the most brutal conditions, it is, it's
because you guys have to go out every hour?
Every hour on the hour. It doesn't matter, day, night, there's always someone going out for weather observation, so it, you know, it doesn't matter if it's beautiful and sunny outside or if it's minus 20 and 100 mile an hour winds. So. Well,
the nice thing is you have EMS coming on board last year as you're, you know, they just gear you up, and they do such a good job. I love the jacket. It's soft shell jacket.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice. That's the trend now. So they're going to keep you protected. So every hour out. Why do you guys do that?
That's a great question. Why are there people in Mount Washington year-round? We're up there, I mean, essentially because we're taking weather observations every hour. We're taking this data, we're keeping it for ourselves. We're building a climate record. We have 80 years of climate data, basically. Every hour for the past 80 years, we have data. And we're building this for both internal records, but we enter this stuff with National Weather Service. Helps build forecasts for the region. And then helps us. They put those numbers into some models. We can see those models. We make forecasts. So those folks who are really excited about hiking Mount Washington want to know, is this a good day to hike up? They know. They can take a look at our website.
Right. Well, that's a huge resource, because not only do you have the weather forecast and current conditions, wind speeds, stuff like that, right accessible before they head out, which is just one tool to get them up and down safely. But you have a link, like during the winter, to the U.S. Forest Service avalanche site, stuff like that. Things, because people, they don't expect it to be hardcore. And it is a hardcore winter experience to go up into Tuckerman and to go on top of Mount Washington. They got to know, you know, and in the winter, the observatory is not open.
No, it's not.
They can't get in.
State Park building is closed, so any hiker that goes up there, you need to be fully prepared. So, you know, this is one of those resources for folks that go up and they say, okay, well, you know, can I take care of myself in this? What can I expect? Or,
and if you can't, get a guide. But this is all, I'm segueing, I'm working on it, because for the people that can't handle that winter hardcore experience, you guys have a great program that you've built up in the last couple of years, distance learning in the classroom, out of classroom. So why don't you tell me about sort of how this came to be?
Yeah, absolutely. For anyone who's not familiar with our educational offerings, I mean, we're a scientific research institution, but also part of our mission is education for folks who are interested in weather, climate, things like that. So we offer a lot of different programs. Certainly, if anyone's familiar with the North Conway region, they've probably checked out the Weather Discovery Center. If they haven't, it's a free museum. It's right down here in the village. Really cool exhibits there. So if anyone's in the valley, great place to check out. We do other things. We have, say, educational outreach. We have outreach coordinators who go out to local schools in the region, can give programs through there. But for me, for someone who lives and works on the summit of Mount Washington, I have to make some sort of contact with the outside.
Well, we're just talking to poor Steven up there. He was like Eeyore this morning, because he was like, can't see. But it's true. You guys, you have that contact. How do you do it, though, from the summit?
Well, so we have these distance learning programs, and what we use this video conferencing technology. We have a Polycom system up there. And for any school, library, some sort of science center, anything like that, basically any school or organization that has compatible technology, internet connection, we can link up and we can give a live classroom program from the summit of Mount Washington. Various different topics. It can be, say, fundamentals of climate, weather observations on the summit of Mount Washington, life and work on the summit of Mount Washington, custom programs.
That must be a popular one, because they're just curious, like, how do you survive up there? What's the place like? What do you guys do?
It's, you know, really obscure job. I'll be the first one to say that. So, it's really great opportunity, very interactive. A lot more interesting than, say, just flipping through a book on physics or, say, meteorology. That stuff's very interesting. I love that stuff too. But you know, to be able to link up with someone, a scientist who's in the field, who's doing this sort of work, it really brings it to another level. For
and actually, because you guys can actually like go out a little bit too, right? Like go right out the door and say current weather.
The other day, I'm setting up our deck camera. So for folks who are familiar with our webcams, literally set up a camera out there. I'll stand fully bundled head to toe. Winds are ripping across the deck up there, and I'll have a little wireless mic, and I can talk to everyone, move a camera around, say, yeah, it's pretty cold out here.
And you never know what kind of spark that might put in some kid that said, okay, this is something I'm interested in, whether it's, the global warming,
Absolutely.
issue, or something more basic day-to-day weather forecasting, which is so important.
We see this all the time in the programs we do. We ask folks, hey, well, have any of you ever observed the weather before? And people are like, well, I'm not really sure. It's like, well, have you ever read a thermometer before? Have you ever seen how windy it is? Have you ever checked a forecast before you went outside to figure out, what you're going to wear that day, how it's going to impact your activities? And suddenly everyone's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's right. Weather does play a pretty big role in my life.
Absolutely. I mean, everyone can talk about the weather, right?
Yeah.
So that's where you guys come in.
Even when we run out of things to talk about, we talk about the weather. That's
so how about those clouds?
We all have it in common, yeah.
Now, I'm going to put you on the record now. How much snow is Mount Washington going to get this winter?
Oh, gosh.
This isn't concrete. There's money riding on this.
This is concrete, yes. Okay. Well, my professional opinion, I don't actually have one. We don't do long-term forecasts. But let's see, National Weather Service did put out their long-term forecast from the winter. For us, they said that basically it's going to look like an average winter, which is a good winter.
But Farmer's Almanac said big snow from the Farmer's Almanac.
AccuWeather.com, I think, also said slightly above average for this area.
Let's keep our fingers crossed.
But I don't know. They're saying dry in the upper Midwest, and it was dry in the upper Midwest last winter.
See trends, kids. You could, you big snowboarder skiers. This is what you could do. You could say, yeah, I know what's going to do this winter. I'm going to buy my pass now because then I'm going to be skiing my butt off.
Yeah, well, let's hope. Let's hope. I really hope so.
How do schools, organizations, anyone get involved in this distance learning? Can they do it online?
Certainly. Yep. Okay. So for anyone who is or is not familiar with their website, it's mountwashington.org, MOUNT, Washington.org, /education. Go to that page. Find all the information you like. There's a great video about distance learning program there. Some examples of the programs, and there's even more information about building custom programs, things like that.
So they can fit into the curriculum and
absolutely,
all that.
Yep. These programs are built to fit within New Hampshire frameworks and also national education standards. So for any teacher, who is really looking for a great, really interactive, fun program, it's perfect.
All right, good. So online, mountwashington.org. And before I let you go, though, are there still volunteer opportunities going on for the summit over the winter? Like people come up and stay
there
for a week?
Are, yep. Well, for folks who are members of the Observatory or interested in becoming members, you have that opportunity once you join with a membership that you could volunteer for a week on the summit with us. Great opportunity. It's a lot of fun. Certainly a great learning experience for everybody. You have to come up in the summer, though, first, before you can do a winter week. You got to prove yourself.
Oh, yeah? All right.
Make sure you can handle
Challenge.
it. Yeah. Because the winter, there's a lot going on.
Well, there is a lot going on. It's definitely like this little pocket of, because Chris Prue and I went up for the anniversary, it was in April, of the highest wind.
Oh, nice.
At the time. And it was just amazing because we were expecting, raging winds. We had Aurora Borealis. We were out there in fleece.
Nice.
It was just it wasn't exactly like what we wanted on film.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But it worked out for us because I could not
believe
how beautiful it was.
Yeah.
So you just never know on top of the summit because there's a lot going on there with weather cells and all this other stuff. So a lot of good stuff. Website's a great place to start, or you could go to the Weather Discovery Center as well. Do we get everything?
I think so.
All right. Well, very nice to meet you. Hopefully you'll come back again because you're week on, week off, right?
That's right.